Well, have there been any designs that you have in mind that you just haven't yet found the client that wants to like
Mm.
do that?
I developed a concept when I was working in uh, South America, Mexico, and China called the Earth Home.
Hmm.
Now, the Earth Home to me is a 100% self-sufficient house. And it's built as closely with natural materials as I can get it. So it's a passive solar house like all of these houses, built with compressed earth bricks. So it heats and cools itself naturally without a mechanical system. It has rainwater collection and or a well, if you have good potable well for your fresh water.
Hmm.
It has a composting toilet that composts all the waste and turns it into organic fertilizer, which is then used in the gardens, which is watered by the gray water from the sinks and showers. And then there's a solar oven on the south wall of the kitchen that can do a large portion of your cooking. So
Okay.
this is a house that's completely self-sufficient in all aspects. It'll feed you, it'll keep you comfortable year-round. You have fresh potable water and sanitation. Now, I've built close to that, not all of that, in the houses I've done in Mexico and China and other countries. Um, it's really not needed, if you will, here in the US, and as a very little market for it.
Hmm.
But my next project will be a community that tries to incorporate all of those things. So basically, we will have houses like this that heat and cool themselves and are solar powered with batteries in a development which also includes enough agricultural area to feed all the people in the community. And then the agricultural area will be run like a CSA or a community garden, where they'll actually hire somebody to run the garden,
Hmm.
and it's primarily for the owners in the community. And excess, of course, can be sold to other people. But the design concept is you provide all the necessities for life for the community. Your house is self-sufficient and your food source is secured
Hmm.
in a community development.
Yeah. I mean, I think there
That's my
is,
dream.
yeah, there's not, I mean, there may not be necessarily a demand for that idea just because people are don't think it's something that is possible, but I think there's definitely a need for it. I mean, so many people in areas in food deserts or, in just reducing the energy costs associated with the food in general.
Yeah. For instance, in Frederick County up here, and I'm sure it's true in a lot of rural areas, there is a big fight between the developers and the farmers.
Hmm.
The farmers want to keep rural land. They want to keep local food production. They want to keep it in farming. It is the nature it's always been forever. And the developers just want to buy the land, clear it off, put a bunch of cheap houses on them and sell them for a lot of money. So my proposal is to, okay, let's find a farm. It's a working farm, something that has some good arable land. Let's design it so that we have the houses in sort of a cluster community that are relatively close together and create a community of
Hmm.
people that can live close together and provide enough area of the development for the farming and the infrastructure to produce food so that the housing can be healthy and energy efficient and self-sufficient with solar, and the food can be produced there. So you have food security and home security in the same development.
Hmm.
So that should pacify the concept of combining residential development and agriculture is kind of radical, especially in zoning, for
Yeah.
instance. So there'll be some hoops to jump through, but I think it's a concept that has to be addressed. Food security.
Yeah.
Because where does your food come from? It comes from the grocery store. Where does it come from there, right? If it comes from Mexico, all of a sudden it's going to cost you a lot more for Mexico because of
Yeah.
tariffs and crazy stuff like that. So, where does your food come from? And knowing it comes locally, how about knowing it comes from your backyard where you have control over what's being grown and how it's grown? I mean, that sense of security, I'm sure I could find a handful of people would be willing to buy houses in that neighborhood. So
Yeah.
they may not know now that that could be done, but they will when we do it.
Yeah.
So build it and they will come if you do.
No, I mean, I think that's great, and it also adds, at least seems like it would also add a potential income stream to the farmer, or to have like, okay, now you don't have to ship your stuff off to, the grain elevator or whatever, and you have like a direct to consumer, at least for a portion of your
Yeah.
farmland.
That's the whole idea of the community-based farming, is that they have a built-in supply for, market
Mm.
for the food they produce. And in fact, the market will tell them what they want you to grow. And it's done on a subscription basis. In other words, you pay X amount a year for your food,
Hmm.
and the farmer then has that as his budget to work with. And if you have enough land and the farmer can make besides paying himself a reasonable wage, can make a profit on it, more the better, That just makes the whole system financially make a lot more sense
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Just keeping things closer together.
Hmm.
You'd save energy. It seems like common sense, right?
Yeah.